Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And today, I'm going to be talking about Quentin Grimes. And is Quentin Grimes set to have a breakout season for the New York Knicks? Quentin Grimes just came off of a very solid second year with the New York Knicks, obviously coming out of Houston, played with Kansas as well, was a 25th overall pick. He averaged 11 points, he averaged 3 rebounds, 2 assists, even though I think he's a better facilitator than that. We're going to talk about that. He shot 46.8% from the field, 38% from 3, which is above league average on a pretty good sample size, attempting 5 3-balls per game, nearly 6 3-balls because I believe it was around 5.8. Did not get to the foul line a lot. I think that's a part of his game that he could definitely expand on, even though it is difficult when he is not even a top 3 scoring option. It's Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle, obviously, but when he has gone to the line, not a lot. He has shot it at a near 80% clip at 79%, and we know he's a competitor. This dude is an absolute dog. I love seeing Quentin Grimes play the game of basketball. He makes the right plays, extremely unselfish. He's a good facilitator because he's a threat outside on the perimeter, because he's a 38% three-point shooter with good mechanics, a very quick release. He gets the defense to close outside hard on the perimeter, and he has his quick first step, so he does a really good job dribble penetrating and finding a Mitch Robinson inside, Julius Randle, or whoever happens to be cutting. Josh Hart's obviously a good cutter when it comes to comes to the basket, cutting backdoor, just tons of movement. Josh Hart's a constant mover, and he's been like that since he played for Jay Wright at Villanova. He's just always been that type of player that he's not always looking to cut and get the basketball to score, but also to make that extra pass. So when I say Quentin Grimes, like making this jump, will he make that jump? And I'm not saying like average 20 points per game. I think that is extremely unreal. Like that's very unrealistic. But I'm talking about make that jump of a little more trust within the offense from a Tom Thibodeau, because Quentin Grimes has been working his butt off this summer. He reached out to Redick, who's one of the best shooters of all time. Obviously, he played for a few NBA teams, but when I think of Redick, I think of mostly the Orlando Magic, LA Clippers days. Obviously, he's played with Pelicans, he's played with different organizations, but Redick is one of the best shooters ever when it comes to coming off of pin downs, constant movement, quick trigger, one of the most efficient three-point shooters. Obviously, he's not a good defender like Quentin Grimes is now. Like Redick was never a good defender. Quentin Grimes is a better athlete. Quentin Grimes is a great cutter without the ball, and he has the ability to throw it down. He's a pretty high vertical. Even since his high school days, he was one of the top players in high school at one point. But I just love that Quentin Grimes has that work ethic. He's willing to reach out to one of the best shooters of all time, and Redick's willing to help him out. So is there going to be more trust of pin downs? Because in a video, Quentin Grimes was saying that he was working with things, or working on things with Redick, that like these certain plays are probably going to be run for me, and I think there's probably going to be more trust. Is he penciled in as a starter? Tom Thibodeau has not said that because he loves competition, but I do think Quentin Grimes is going to be the starter. Evan Fournier's done in New York. He's still here, but he's completely done. We know he's out of the rotation, doesn't even play at all. We know he's just terrible defensively. Started off playing some games with the Knicks, then Cam Reddish experiment didn't work out. Quentin Grimes stepped in and did a very solid job. But he's going to be competing with probably just Josh Hart, but I do like Josh Hart more off the bench. In my opinion, Quentin Grimes does provide more offensive upside, even though Josh Hart did have that year in Portland that he actually averaged nearly 20 points per game, but that's when everyone was injured. He's just a more fundamentally sound player, you could say, than a Quentin Grimes. Like, he does more of the little things, but I do believe Grimes has more of that upside. But I'm not asking from, like, what I'm asking from Grimes, I'm not asking him to shoot these step backs like crazy, or I do like the jab step. I think he should continue using that jab step. He does a pretty solid job creating separation with that, but I just want him to continue to refine things that he's already solid at. Like Quentin Grimes had months that he was not a good shooter, and then he had months he was an excellent shooter of the basketball. So I just want to see him get even better. His balance, just like his hips when he's in there shooting the basketball. I just want him to look a little more fluid sometimes. So become a better shooter, become a better decision maker. You don't always have to make that pass. Like, sometimes the lane's going to be clogged when someone's closing outside on the perimeter. Look to take it to the basket and try to draw more fouls in those opportunities, because you're not going to have these tons of ISO situations, even though you could say our offense sometimes it's pretty heavy when it comes to ISO plays, but that's not specifically his skill set. And he did show some ability to shoot that step back three. It's not consistent yet. We saw it versus Dallas specifically. We did see it in other games like Indiana at the end of the season, but that heartbreaking loss versus Dallas when he had 33 points and Lucas 60. Oh my gosh, that I don't even know how we made it. Like, I thought our season was done when that game happened. To be completely honest with you guys, that was just so frustrating. But I just want to see him continue to refine, like, as a facilitator, even get smarter as a defensive player. He's already a pest defensively, But in quote, what he said in the video, actually, when it came to working out with JJ Redick, was uploaded by Knicks video. Shout out to them. Verified. Quentin Grimes reached out to JJ Redick to work out together this summer. He said in the video, I'll pop it up after I say the quote, I know JJ was one of the best shooters ever, which is true. His conditioning was otherworldly, coming off of screens, pin downs. I knew those were going to be the plays that are run for me this season.
Initiated?
Yeah, I just knew I had kind of reached out to him. I knew coming into the season what my role would be. Until then, my guy around, they talking about the shots I would be getting this season. So I know JJ Redick was one of the best shooters ever in this league. His conditioning was otherworldly and stuff like that. So I would try to get in the gym with him, learn little things, how he was coming off screen, pin downs. I knew that was going to be some of the plays that were going to be ran for me this season. So I want to be prepared for whenever I get my number called.
So he knows it already. I don't know if he's kind of assuming or he knows. Maybe he has talked to Tom Thibodeau and there's going to be more trust. And I do think he's going to be the starter, but I love the conditioning part because down the stretch, that is so pivotal. You know, you need to have those legs freshened up. And we know Tom Thibodeau likes to give his starters a decent amount of minutes for sure, a good amount of minutes for sure. So when Grimes is shooting those three balls, when he's dribble penetrating, like in general, not even just when guys are closing out on him, he has a good first step in general. Like his legs are obviously being utilized a lot, and if there's more movement, you want him to be freshened up down the stretch if he's getting that opportunity. And he's also hit some 3-point shots down the stretch. So I love that Grimes has his work ethic. I love that he wants to be a very good basketball player. Maybe some realistic stat predictions. You want him to be a 14-point per game scorer, go up a few. Not ask him to average 18 again when you have RJ, Randall, Brunson. Brunson's an elite isolation offensive player. Julius Randle has been elite when it comes to regular season-wise isolation basketball. And RJ is a little different, that he is isolation-based, but his skill set is different, of more dribble penetrating and getting to the basket. So maybe RJ's facilitation can get even better, recognizing Grimes outside on the perimeter on a more consistent basis, and it could open up things. I did like seeing Grimes get out and run sometimes, but we do not have Obi, so is our offense going to slow down even more? But the thing is, Grimes, even higher pressure situations. Was he just straight up nervous in his second year last year in the playoffs? In the Cleveland series, like obviously game one, hit some big free throws down the stretch in game one. We needed those. And we won that game versus Cleveland in Cleveland. But in both series, I thought he was excellent. What was that, in game 2 or was that game 5? That we beat Miami. Quentin Grimes had that excellent defensive play on Jimmy Butler, which gave us tons of momentum at the Garden. Thinking about that, that was definitely game 5. I believe so. That was definitely game 5. Quentin Grimes had that excellent defensive play, but it seemed like he wasn't involved on offense. But when he did get the ball, he looked a little scared. And I understand it looked like he was going to crap his pants, but at the same time, it's like, all right, you just gave Grimes the ball. You know that's not a skill set to just go, oh, let me go do a sidestep 3 or step back like a Lillard or a James Harden. You know that's not a skill set, so why are you just swinging him the rock and expecting him to do something big? Maybe to facilitate him make a play, but offensively, I didn't think we really put him in the position to be successful, but he did look scared at times. I didn't think there was enough design plays, and I hope there is more design plays for Grimes this upcoming season, and it's crazy that there's literally a game going on right now of, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks. I literally just got home from class when I'm filming this video. So if we want to reach our upside, Grimes is going to have to average double digits in the playoffs because the defense is there already, but you want to see the efficiency on offense and maybe even get better as a finisher at the basket and look to be more physical and get even better as a rebounder. 3 rebounds is solid, but I feel like he can get even better. But I think he's a good facilitator. He had months he struggled from 3, and then he was good from 3, but his mechanics, I don't worry about his shot. Again, I'm not worrying about the crazy shot creation right now. I just want him to refine things that he's already pretty good at, become even smarter communicating on the defense side of the basketball. We know he does a really good job bottling guys up, but I'm excited. Do you guys think Quentin Grimes is going to break out when it comes to improvement? You know, more plays being designed for him and having more confidence, maybe he's going to step in and be the starter. Again, Tibbs isn't going to label him as a starter, but I think it's just for competition, and that is completely healthy. But I do think Grimes is going to break out a little bit or get even better, average a few more points. He's already a pretty efficient offensive player, but he's going to get better on the glass. I do think his assists are going to go up. If the New York Knicks are smart, they're going to look and say, this dude is more than just a 3-point shooter. He's an overall team player that knows when to swing the rock. He knows when to get his. Let me know down below your thoughts on Quentin Grimes. Is he going to break out? Peace out, y'all.